Born rich. If you're not already rich, this one's not for you. The window closed before you were even born. Born rich isn't a strategy. It's a lottery ticket you didn't buy, but somehow won anyway. Growing up with everything handed to you creates a specific kind of softness. Money feels abstract when you've never had to chase it. Motivation vanishes. Purpose becomes a luxury problem. You're bored with a trust fund. Meaning-making gets expensive. Some born rich people spend their whole lives chasing authentic struggle because real life never forced them to find it. The wealth insulates you from consequences. That's not always freedom. Sometimes it's just slow suffocation wrapped in cashmere, or just a trap. $124 trillion in wealth is transferring to the next generation right now. The top 1% owns nearly 30% of total U.S. wealth. The bottom 50% owns 4%. If you're born into that top 1%, you skip 40 years of the grind. Your network is already built. Your education is prepaid. Your first job comes through a phone call, not a resume. Statistics don't lie. Born rich kids graduate college debt-free, buy homes before 30, and inherit capital at exactly the moment they need it. The system is rigged. That's the truth. And if you won, congratulations. Zero hunger means zero edge. You gain comfort and lose drive. You gain access and lose authenticity. You gain time and lose the thing that makes time feel valuable. Money you didn't earn feels different. It's safer. It's also emptier. It's the trade-off of never knowing if anything you accomplished was actually yours or just the privilege talking. Born rich works, but it costs you something. You just don't realize it until you're older and bored and wondering why nothing matters. Worked rich. You take the long road: school, college, entry-level job, repeat. 40 years of climbing. No shortcuts, no inheritance, no lottery, just discipline and time. Worked rich is the path that actually works for normal people. It's also the path nobody wants to take. The system is designed to extract maximum labor for minimum reward. You work 40 years, and by the time you're debt-free, you're old. Your best years are spent making money for someone else. One recession and your secure job vanishes. Job security is a myth. The trap is believing the system rewards loyalty. It doesn't. It just keeps you compliant. But here's what the numbers show. The average American who follows this path reaches $1.8 million net worth by 65. That's not yacht money, but it's real. Compound interest works if you give it time. Contribute $500 per month to retirement accounts starting at 25, and you hit millionaire status by 55. The math is simple, just consistency. Time is the only real asset in this game. 40 years of your life for financial security. You gain stability and lose adventure. You gain predictability and lose spontaneity. You work when you're young and energetic. By 65, your knees don't work. You traded the best years for the worst ones to enjoy them. Lucky rich. You're scrolling at 2 a.m. when your friend texts a link, some coin nobody's heard of. You throw in $500 because why not? 3 months later, it's worth $40,000. You just became lucky rich. Except luck isn't a strategy. It's a slot machine that happened to pay out once. Lucky rich is what everyone sees. The crypto millionaire, the meme stock winner, the guy who bought Bitcoin at $100 and sold at $60,000. The problem is that for every winner, there are thousands of corpses. Day traders have a 1% success rate over 5 years. Only 13% stay profitable after 6 months. The other 87% are gone, money evaporated, confidence shattered. You see the lottery winner's Ferrari. You don't see the 99 bankruptcies that funded it. The math is brutal. Crypto gambling revenue hit $81 billion in 2024, up fivefold from 2022. Those are insane numbers. But here's the truth nobody mentions. That money came from somewhere. It came from losers, from people who thought they were lucky too. The casino always wins, always. Timing the market is statistically impossible. Even professionals fail at it. Your friend got lucky. The odds say next time you'll get destroyed. The trade-off is immediate and permanent. You win big and lose everything in one wrong move. You gain a story and lose your capital. You trade security for a story you'll never finish telling because you'll be too busy working to recover. Lucky rich feels like the fastest path. It's actually the fastest way to end up broke and convincing yourself it wasn't your fault. Smart rich. You don't win the lottery. You build something people actually need. Smart rich is the entrepreneur path. You identify a problem, solve it, scale it, and eventually someone buys your company, or it prints money forever. It takes skill, capital, and years of grinding before anyone notices. Most startups fail. 90% collapse within 5 years. First-time founders have an 18% success rate. The odds are catastrophic. But here's what separates smart rich from lucky rich. Skill matters. Serial entrepreneurs succeed at 30% rates on their next venture because they learned from failure. They understand market timing, product market fit, and execution. They're not guessing. They're pattern matching against every failure they survived. The economics work. Build a company worth $10 million. Sell it. Now you have capital. Take that capital and build 3 more companies. Even if 2 fail, the third might be worth $100 million. The average startup costs $3,000 to launch but needs capital for survival. Most entrepreneurs bootstrap or beg investors for years before anything happens. By the time you exit, you've sacrificed a decade of your life working 80-hour weeks. You trade stability for upside. You trade certainty for optionality. You gain potential wealth but lose income security. You could die poor or exit rich. There's no middle ground. Most entrepreneurs end up somewhere between broke and comfortable. The 10% that win, they win big. But understanding the numbers means understanding most won't. Influencer rich. You build an audience. Millions of people watch your content. Brands pay you to promote products. You monetize attention. It's the newest wealth path. It's also the most fragile. One algorithm change and your income vanishes overnight. The top 1% of creators make real money, but the other 99% make almost nothing. They posted constantly, gained zero traction, and now exist in a permanent digital archive with zero income. The platform owns the relationship with your audience. You own nothing. You can get demonetized without warning, and algorithms shift, destroys accounts overnight. You're building on rented land. One policy change and your business dies. The risk is total. The reward is conditional. To make $20,000 monthly, you need to be in the top 1% globally. That requires consistent output, algorithmic luck, trend riding, parasocial relationship building, paid sponsorships, and emotional labor. It's not just posting. It's marketing, branding, constant engagement, responding to comments, understanding analytics, and pivoting strategy monthly. Most creators quit within 2 years. The grind destroys motivation. Mental health collapses. Burnout sets in. The trade-off is exploitation disguised as freedom. You gain time flexibility and lose financial stability. You gain potential wealth and lose anonymity. You trade privacy for exposure and hope it converts to capital before the algorithm breaks you. Your income is one viral moment away from collapse. Your mental health is one bad comment section away from destruction. Influencer rich feels accessible. It's actually the most brutal wealth path available. Because you're working for free until you're not. Frugal rich. You don't chase money, you chase freedom. Frugal rich means cutting everything unnecessary and letting compound interest do the work. You live on rice and frozen vegetables. You wear clothes from thrift stores. You bike instead of driving for 15 to 20 years. Then you exit the system. Save 50% of your income. Invest it at 7% annual returns. By age 40, you're financially independent. You don't need a job anymore. You have enough capital-generating passive income to cover your minimal lifestyle. The FIRE movement, Financial Independence Retire Early, has proven this works. Gen Z participants target retirement at 54, decades earlier than traditional paths. No startup risk, no algorithm changes, no lucky breaks needed, just discipline and time. But here's the trap nobody mentions. The lifestyle is suffocating. No restaurants, no vacations to nice places, no new clothes, no status symbols. You're penny pinching in your 20s and 30s when you should be living. Your friends are traveling. You're at home meal prepping. They're buying houses in nice neighborhoods. You're in the cheapest apartment you can find. They're dating people attracted to their lifestyle. You're explaining why you don't go out. The psychological cost is real, even if the financial math is perfect. The trade-off is immediate and permanent. You gain freedom at 40 and lose your youth. You gain financial independence and lose social connection. You gain millions in capital and lose years of actually using them when your body works. By the time you're free, you're tired. The compounding worked, the sacrifice worked, but you're not sure what you were saving for anymore. Debt rich. You borrow money and use it to buy assets that appreciate faster than the interest rate you're paying. Debt rich means leveraging borrowed capital to build wealth at accelerated speed. It works brilliantly if you're right. It destroys you if you're wrong. The mechanics are simple. Borrow $500,000 at 5% interest to buy real estate worth $500,000. If that property appreciates 10% annually, you're making 15% on your actual capital while only paying 5% in interest. The spread is your profit. Real estate investors do this constantly. They buy property with borrowed money, rent it out, and let tenants pay down the debt while appreciation builds equity. 10 properties financed this way, and you're a multimillionaire. Leverage turns small capital into big wealth. But leverage also turns small mistakes into total collapse. Leverage cuts both ways. Real estate appreciates until it doesn't. Markets crash. Interest rates rise. Tenants stop paying. Your debt stays the same, but your asset value plummets. Now you owe more than the property is worth. Negative equity. You're trapped. Walk away and your credit dies. Stay and bleed money monthly. Real estate investors who bought in 2006 watched their $500,000 properties drop to $200,000 by 2009. The debt didn't shrink. They did. Debt rich only works if the market cooperates. The trade-off is optionality for leverage. You gain accelerated wealth and lose sleep. You gain asset appreciation and lose flexibility. You're locked into debt payments whether your investment performs or not. One market crash and leverage becomes a life sentence. The math only works if you're right about timing, asset appreciation, and interest rates. Debt rich works spectacularly until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it's game over. Wanna be rich? You're 23 and attractive. He's 75 and wealthy. He's also nearing the end of his life. You marry him. When he dies, you inherit his $100 million estate. Wanna be rich is the oldest wealth path in history. Marry money, wait for death, collect the inheritance. No business risk, no algorithm changes, no startup failure. Just time and patience and emotional endurance. The traps are obvious, but everyone ignores them. His adult children see through your act immediately. They hire lawyers. They contest the will. They claim undue influence. Prenuptial agreements protect wealthy people. If one exists, you get nothing. If one doesn't, you get years of litigation fighting family members who have unlimited legal budgets. You win the inheritance and lose years in court defending it. Even if you win, you're marked. Everyone knows what you did. Social ostracism is brutal even if the bank account grows. But here's what makes wannabe rich actually work. $124 trillion in wealth is transferring to the next generation right now. Not everyone has prenuptial agreements. Not everyone has vigilant children. Some elderly billionaires are genuinely lonely. They marry for companionship and someone to share their final years. The inheritance flows freely. No fighting, just a funeral and a check. Zero risk, zero effort. Just find the right wealthy elderly person and be present. The trade-off is your authenticity for capital. You gain millions and lose self-respect. You gain freedom and lose integrity. You trade years of your youth for someone else's mortality and years of moral compromise. By the time you have the money, you've become someone you don't recognize. Now you've seen the 8 main paths to get rich. Born rich doesn't require effort. Worked rich requires time. Lucky rich requires prayer. Smart rich requires skill. Influencer rich requires exploitation. Frugal rich requires suffering. Debt rich requires timing. Wannabe rich requires moral compromise. Just pick your poison. See you in the next one.